Welcome to Enjoying Life, a program of music, chatter, and friends, designed to put a refreshing moment in your day. Now, please welcome your award-winning hosts, Dr. Jerry and Little Jan.
Are you ready to sing?
I am ready.
All right,
to do this
and
thing
welcome
again.
our guests.
And welcome our guests.
Yes.
We've got some really good folks with us today.
We sure have. A friend of many, many years. And what's that saying? I've traveled the high seas with him.
We have. We have
sure
done that.
And it's great to have him on our television program. And we're glad you're with us as well. You know, just recently we were at a big convention, and in the hallways we heard so many people say, we
yes.
really did, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And it just made us smile because the convention was drawing people from all over America and Canada, and actually there are people there from Ireland and Scotland and all those
And they
places.
said that they were watching us
Enjoying life. I know it. I loved it too. Well, we got a couple of songs to sing, and one of them, of course, is in a lot of the church hymnals.
It is.
So they might want to sing with us. Are you ready to sing?
You want to sing it now?
Let's do I Feel a Blessing Coming On, because
right,
we've had so many requests for it.
All right, let's do that.
All right,
yeah.
all right. Enjoy.
I think I feel a blessing coming on. I feel the Spirit moving oh so strong. There's a burning in my heart, and I know it can't be long. I think I feel a blessing coming on.
If you want the Lord to bless you like He promised He would do,
You must have faith He'll do it, and He'll fill you through and through.
just lift your hands and praise Him. He'll never leave you wrong.
And soon you'll feel that blessing coming on. I think I feel a blessing coming on. I feel the Spirit moving oh so strong. There's a burning in my heart, and I know it can't be long. I think I feel a blessing coming on.
Just reach out to your neighbor, say, brother, I love you.
We know the Lord will bless us when we show our love too.
We're in this thing together, never all alone.
I think I feel that blessing coming on. I think I feel the blessing coming on. I feel the Spirit moving oh so strong. There's a burning in my heart, and I know it can't be long. I think I feel the blessing coming on. I think I feel the blessing coming on. Coming on.
You know, sometimes people ask you, where do you get ideas for songs? Well, I was on my way to church, and it was a good service. I just knew it was going to be a good service, and I said, I'm going to get a blessing tonight. And I got the idea, I feel a blessing coming on, and so I just sat outside the church in the car and wrote that song. I think I feel a blessing coming on. And this song, now many of you got it in your hymn book. We were at a church some time ago, and we were singing, and the pastor said, sing page 172. Well, I had no idea what 172 was, you know.
That's true.
And so after a couple of times he said that, I said, Pastor, I don't know what 172 is. He said, well, it's your song, and it's in our songbook, and it's page 172. It might be in your songbook. So if you want to sing it with us, come on and join us. I am blessed every day.
I am blessed, I am blessed, every day that I live I am blessed. When I wake up in the morning till I lay my head to rest, I am blessed, I am blessed. I've got shoes for my feet, I've had plenty to eat, and a home in heaven by and by. Brothers and sisters on this earth, you are mine for mine in love. We shall dwell forever in the sky. I am blessed, I am blessed. Every day that I live, I am blessed. When I wake up in the morning till
Well, we're glad that you're with us, and we're excited about our special guest for today. You know, it's a good feeling in the studio today.
There is a good feeling. As a matter of fact, the camera just caught me having a good time over here by myself, I guess.
Well, you know, we believe in enjoying life. Our motto is take Christ as your partner and enjoy life. So many people, you know, to them it's sort of a fire escape, but I believe that you're to enjoy the journey as we go home to be with the Lord.
That's right.
And we have a special guest today, and he's really a friend of both of us, you know.
Yes.
He is, and of course his wife, Kathy. But probably on a ministerial level, he is more my friend than yours. But I tell him all the time, I'm going to have to tell you which sermons you can preach at some of these churches, because I've already preached your sermon. But welcome, if you will, our special guest, Dr. Tom Hayes. We're just glad you're here, brother.
It's my joy.
And I call you Brother Tom. I know
Yes.
you know, academically I should say Dr. Hayes.
No,
but,
that's fine.
But how long have you been in the ministry, Brother Tom?
I surrendered to preach in 1968.
In 1968, 78, 88, 88, 98, 208, that's close to 50 years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
50 years.
It's
Yeah,
close
give me a
enough.
walking cane.
Yeah. But you never have pastored, have you?
No, I was an associate pastor for 2 years. Then the meetings started opening up, and it was embarrassing not to be at the church where I was to be. So we stepped out by faith, and here we are.
And you are what we know in the ministerial world as an evangelist.
That's correct.
Well, you know, I also, until we started working cruises together,
Right.
you know, I knew of Dr. Tom Hayes, and of course your ministry is very strong. But I really didn't know that you were involved in the music field until we were on a cruise.
Right, I believe I sang one day.
Yeah, you did. I came around, I was knocked out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you write the songs and you sing as well.
Yes.
When did you start singing and playing?
I came up in a singing family. My
Really?
mother and my two sisters sang, and then my oldest sister went to college, and they drafted me into the high part.
You sang the high part?
Yeah, back
Really?
then that was another,
Yeah, another era.
dispensation.
Well, you know, Brother Hayes, you used to come to our church, Pleasant Grove Baptist Church, many years ago, and preach for us over
That's
there
correct.
at Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. When I met you on the cruise, when Jerry and I were married, it was so much fun, because I told him, I said, I know Brother Hayes.
Well, yeah, she felt like I know that guy.
Yeah.
I
Well,
already
you
know
know,
him.
in your,
I wondered why she didn't laugh at my stories. She had already heard them.
Well, you know, they learn to hear them over again and enjoy them.
Yes,
I
I do.
always ask her, I said, you know, we go different places like you do, and I'll be telling some of the same story. And I said, but you just die laughing over there. She
They are
says, not
so funny.
only are they humorous, if that's what it's to be,
Right.
but seeing the reaction of the others in the crowd kind
I
of
know
brings
it. That sort of feeds
Well, I
back.
want to ask you something about your preaching. I've always wanted to know. I've never heard of any other preacher that I know of, and Lord in heaven knows I know a jillion, you know.
Right.
I've never heard a preacher that can get more meat
He's told
in a
me.
sermon out of,
He's
say,
told
3
me.
words or 4. Where did you start in that style of ministry?
Well, when I was an associate pastor, Brother Jack Cole, who was my pastor, he taught me how to use a Strong's Concordance. I was very deficient in some of those areas. And so those words really came alive to me. And that was my initiation, I think, into word studies.
And you really, now you're known for that, I think,
Well,
in the
yes.
ministerial circles.
Right.
Because I've heard so many preachers say, you know, he can take one half of a verse and just preach for 45 minutes. you know.
Well, I don't know about that, but
Well, you can, yeah, you do. You're just being
it's very
modest.
kind.
But do you know, I remember Dr. Odom, who was a Bible teacher for me at the university, and he said, you that are going to be preachers, where several of us in that class, he said, don't study for a sermon, let your study lead to a sermon.
That's
not
great.
bad
No,
advice.
that's excellent.
Then when did you start writing songs?
I wrote my first song when I was still an associate pastor. I was working second shift, and I was running a welding machine. And I got in a rhythm, and these words started coming to me, and that was my first song.
Wow.
What a way.
Yeah.
What a way.
Well, I'd put down some words before, but I don't know if it was a song or not. It was just a little ditty.
Yeah.
Sort of like my first sermon. They said it was great, but I don't know if it was even a sermon.
Well, we all have been there. We all had
Right.
to start somewhere. I remember the first time I was invited to preach a sermon. And, I was raised in a preacher's family, so
Right.
you had some idea of what was expected. But I was sitting at the table studying. My mother said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I've got to preach Sunday." And she almost fell on the floor, trying to learn something to share the word from.
Right.
Well, you've done how many CDs now?
We've done 11 CDs.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
How many of those sermon things have you put out? I get those from you all the time.
Right. I have no record of that, Brother Jerry. I send out a lot of sermons, a lot of CDs.
Well, I tell you, every time we get a sermon from Dr. Hayes, we know what we're gonna do when we're
Yeah.
driving the weekend.
That's part of our travel stuff.
That's right.
As long as it doesn't put you to sleep.
Oh, no.
Sir, it doesn't do that. It's
No.
awesome.
You
Every
were
time.
doing a rehearsal here a moment ago. People, before the cameras come on,
Right.
people always wonder what goes on before the cameras,
Right.
And you were rehearsing a song and you were reading material, and then you sat down and you said, I have my sermons in my mind, but I can't remember the words of a song. Is it because you have done more of the preaching, or is that where the focus is?
That's where the focus is. I put the music in the background for many years, and then I went through a dark time, and I came out singing.
Oh, praise
And I
God.
wrote several praise and worship type songs. Nothing But Praise was that album. And from there on, it's just escalated.
Well, that's a wonderful title. Nothing
Isn't
but
it?
praise.
Nothing but
Can you
praise.
share with us how you came out singing? Did God use music, or how did that happen?
Well, I had been so low. I had been so discouraged. I thought my ministry was over. And in that dark time, it seemed as though verses kept coming to my mind. And then I began to try to sing them. You know how you'll sit down at the piano and try to put it together.
Yes.
That's how it happened. It really wasn't some phenomenal move, but I came out of that dark time
was
with a
step by
song.
step, yeah.
Yes.
Well, Brother Hayes, I know exactly what you're talking about. When Ronnie died, my husband died, I kept waking up in the early mornings, and you know that feeling, singing a song, just singing a praise thing,
Right.
a holy hymn, and it would wake me every morning. And at some point, I wrote
put it down,
and
yeah.
put it down. I sure
Right.
did. I know what you're
Right.
talking about. It's great how God just gives you what you need at that particular
That's
time.
correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
That's good testimony there,
Yes,
Sister
it-
Goff. That's
I'm
very
telling
good.
you.
Say amen right
I
there.
can, yeah. Let me ask you, do you have any idea how many people, some ministers are good at keeping records. My dad was good at that. But do you have how many people have accepted Christ under your ministry?
I have not kept that record.
How many sermons have you preached in your lifetime?
Well, you had.
How many days a year do you preach?
I preach almost 4 and 5 sermons a week. And then I teach some to younger preachers on Thursday nights often. So, oh my, it would
just
Yeah.
preach.
escalate.
Well, we've got 1 minute before you have to sing, and I want to know something else.
Okay.
Where you've been not only a singer and not only a preacher, but you taught at a school.
That's correct.
What did you teach?
I taught the person and work of Christ, 20 lessons or lectures, and then I taught the person and ministry of the Holy Spirit, 20 lectures. Now I'm teaching at another school, and they give me opportunities to teach more books of the Bible,
Yeah.
which I love.
I'd love to sit in your class.
Oh, that's
I
kind.
love that.
Well, listen, we're so glad you're here.
Oh,
Thank you
thanks
for
for the
coming.
opportunity.
If you'll go to the microphone and get ready to
Certainly.
sing, and then we'll see about talking to you. But we're so glad to have Dr. Hayes with us, and he's going to share with us a song. And this is a song. Now, let me tell you, listener, you want a song that'll touch your life. Listen as he sings his own composition, New Grace. Listen as he sings.
Grace is my story all the way from earth to glory. Since by grace he lifted me from sin and woe. Living grace he has extended as on him my heart depended, and he'll give new grace when it's my time to go. Grace not yet discovered, grace not yet uncovered, grace from his bountiful store. Grace to cross the river, grace to face forever. There'll be new grace I've not needed before. Listen now. There's been grace for every trial. There's been grace for every mile. There's been grace sufficient from his vast supply. Grace to make my heart more tender. Grace to love and pray for sinners. But there'll be new grace when it's my time to die. Grace not yet discovered, grace not yet uncovered, grace from his bountiful store. Grace to cross the river, grace to face forever. There'll be new grace I've not needed before. Grace to cross the river, grace to face forever. There'll be new grace I've not needed before. Singing another number that I wrote in this last year. I've written many choruses over the years. This one came out of a time of worship from Psalm 25, verse 1. Unto thee I lift up my soul. Unto thee, unto thee, unto thee, O Lord, unto thee, O Lord, I turn, unto thee I seek and yearn, unto thee, O Lord, my deep affections flow. Unto thee I lift up my soul. Unto thee, unto thee, unto thee, O Lord, unto thee, O Lord, I pray. Unto thee my cries I make. Unto thee, O Lord, my supplications flow. Unto thee I lift up my soul. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. I will give thanks unto thee, O Lord. My prayer is unto thee, O Lord. I will sing of mercy. Unto thee, O Lord, will I sing. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. Unto thee, unto thee, unto thee, O Lord, unto thee, O Lord, I sing, unto thee my worship bring, unto thee, O Lord, my praises rise and flow, unto thee I lift up my soul. Unto thee, O Lord, I sing. Unto thee my worship bring. Unto thee, O Lord, my praises rise and flow. Unto thee, unto thee, unto thee, I lift up my soul.
Brother Tom, I should say Dr. Hayes, wow. Now, both songs were good.
I'm not sure of New Grace.
But I love both of them, and that second one is certainly scriptural. But that first song, New Grace, whatever gave you that idea?
Well, a dear preacher was preaching on dying grace.
Yeah.
He said to his organist, who is a dear friend of mine, he said, why don't you ask Brother Tom if he can do something with that?
Oh, did you
grace,
really?
Grace that will get us ready for dying.
Yeah.
And it's the only song that's ever happened when someone asked, and then I was able to develop it.
Wow.
I'm telling you, that is powerful.
Well, it's been the most asked for song that I've ever written. It's amazing.
It is,
It's
yeah.
amazing. Of course, Squire Parson recorded it, and then some others have recorded it through the years, and it's been a blessing.
Wow,
It
that's a
has.
powerful song. How many songs have you written now? Have any idea?
Yes, sir. It's right at 600.
600 songs.
Yes, sir.
I thought you were supposed to be a preacher.
Well, what happens is I drive home, and what I've preached sort of gets into my singing.
That's what Jerry does.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand that.
Your evangelistic ministry, it seemed like, and I may be wrong about this, but primarily from, say, Pennsylvania, Northern Virginia, all the way through Tennessee, Alabama, Virginia, all the way into Texas, and all the way through. That's where you
Right.
primarily have
Yes,
focused.
sir.
Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever go to California or to?
I've never been invited to California.
Oh, is that right?
I have a daughter there. So
Oh, really?
It would be a good place to minister.
But
Yes, good.
but then again, on the other hand, other preachers have to travel everywhere. But you do all of yours in probably 10 states here or something like
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How'd you get involved in the cruise?
Well, I knew Brother Templeton back when he
Yes.
sang with the 11th Hour.
Really, that
my
far back?
goodness.
Yeah, they let me fill in one weekend when the preacher could not go.
Tom, oh, that's
Really?
Yeah, he
awesome.
knew me back in those young days.
Yeah.
Man, that's a long time ago.
Oh, let's
when
talk-
Maurice Templeton was singing with 11th Hour.
Yeah, let's talk about something else. It's a beautiful day today.
It's a long time ago. Yes.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yes, sirree. Well, I know you've been close friends with them, and of course you were a standard on the cruises, as you shared.
Yes,
with
for
us
many
all.
years.
For many, 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 many years.
I'm not sure when about how long we're going to be here, but I want to give you my book, Echoes of My
my.
Heart, and make sure Miss Kathy gets
Yes.
it.
Oh,
but I
she-
think that you'll enjoy it too, Pastor. It's just where God has brought me through, and I
Yeah.
think it'll be encouraging to Kathy and to
Oh,
you.
thank you
Pastor.
so much.
We'll sign it when we get off the
Okay,
air.
good.
And I want to give you one of my books called In His Service.
Yes, you've been in his service.
Well, a few years. But it's just stories, all of them true, of things that happened in my life.
You know how
and it's
that
kind of
goes.
like a daily devotion, you know. But
I've heard you tell stories that were not true.
you've been on a cruise,
Yeah,
haven't
you used
you?
to pick on me. Also.
I know it. I did. I love that too.
Yeah.
But I want to give you that. We'll sign what's over.
Thank you
Put
so
that
much,
in your
Brother Jay. I
library,
certainly will.
and then when you can. Well, we want to thank you for coming and thank you for singing. Thank you for sharing your
Oh, it's
ministry.
my blessing.
We look
Thank you.
forward to your. We'll probably see you again in the winter in Florida as we go down.
Yes,
and you
that's
go
right.
down. It's amazing how God calls us to Florida.
I
in the
know,
winter
it's
time.
just the perfect will of God.
I know it, I know it. And we're so glad that you're with us today, and we hope that you'll call a friend and tell them that when we're on this week in your area, wherever you are, whether it's somewhere in the South, we get letters from people across the country, and wherever you are, thanks for tuning in with us and
Thank you.
sharing Christ. And remember that you can enjoy life if you'll take Christ as your partner. So we want you to say with us the last two words, and we'll say it together. This is our motto: take Christ as your partner and enjoy life.